Hey guys, so if you're going to train with weapons, you need to be able to use your weapons effectively without hurting yourself in a variety of situations. This is referred to sometimes as command and mastery or command and mastery fitness. Um, Call it whatever you want to, but you need to be able to move around with your weapon without hurting yourself. And I don't know what your chosen weapon is. Maybe you like firearms. Uh, maybe you like to use knives, whatever you want, but get your mock weapons out and do a little bit of command and mastery and some fitness. So I'm going to illustrate 7 exercises for you, but you can pick, there's there's several ways to do this, but I prefer 2 primary methods. One is called martial base fitness. Martial base fitness is when you do low reps and a low selection of exercises, maybe 4, and you do 4 sets of 4 of each, cycling through them with a low impact emphasis. And that's just to sort of what some guys refer to as greasing the gears or greasing the groove, just to keep you inculcate the correct body mechanics and build a base level of fitness. And then, or what you can do is what I'm going to illustrate today, which is relatively high reps, relatively large number of exercises. And I call that the constitutional method, and that's what we use at my martial arts club, which is Heritage Self-Defense. We do about 25 reps of about 7 different exercises, and we usually do that twice a week. Takes no more than 20 minutes, and that'll give you a little bit higher impact and a little more fitness building as opposed to just greasing the groove. So let's go ahead and let's do some exercises. Now, a lot of guys, I mean, I don't know, maybe you're at home, maybe you have a martial arts club that you belong to, maybe you don't, maybe you run a club, I don't know. But look, you got to stop making excuses. It's 22 outside, it's cold. A lot of people don't come out to my martial arts club because it's outdoors and it's 12 months a year, and there's bugs and it's cold, and right now the ground is concrete. I don't know what to tell you. That's life. Life is difficult. The people that founded the United States made it through Valley Forge. Read a book. Less than a mile to the east, 10,000 elite British troops shed their packs, fixed their bayonets, and drove hard in counterattack. British generals Clinton and Cornwallis could hardly believe their good fortune. After 12 months of a stalemated Philadelphia campaign, here was an opportunity to crush the colonial rebellion. If past was prologue, the mere sight of an endless wall of British cold steel would send the continental rabble fleeing in disarray. A glorious rout would restore the transatlantic equilibrium. King George III would be ecstatic. But Washington knew otherwise. The hellish winter at Valley Forge had taught him so. He and his army had not endured the mud and blood of that winter encampment, only to be turned back now. Half hidden in the smoke and cinders of battle, he ascended a rise and gathered about him the remnants of his exhausted army. It was the critical juncture of the war, and the tall Virginian exuded a sense of urgency and inspiration. Thirsty men who had wilted in the 100-degree heat rose to their feet in anticipation. "Will you fight?" Washington cried. "Will you fight?" The survivors of Valley Forge responded with 3 thunderous cheers that reverberated across the ridgeline. Lafayette, riding with Alexander Hamilton beside the commander-in-chief, was overwhelmed. His presence, the young Frenchman wrote, seemed to arrest fate with a single glance. You can do this, and quite frankly, if you can't do this, then you might not actually be a martial artist. So you should think about these things with a fair amount of sincerity. If you only train on mats and you only train when it's 72 degrees Fahrenheit and 30% humidity, then I mean, you might not be able to function in the real world. So get the work done. All right, let's go ahead and start. So I want to start with a bottom scissors. So if you're in bottom scissors, and then you go to here, you want to keep him at bay. So whatever weapon you happen to be using, you want to make sure that you're using it so that you're keeping it out of range. And then practice your pistol whips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Do as many reps as you want. We usually aim for about 25. $60. 70. 80. Next, I want you to do a crunch and punch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, you need to practice your shrimps. This is very important if you're trying to escape from an opponent and then not stab or cut yourself as you move backwards. So you want to be here. Next is prisoner get-ups. So a prisoner get-up is when you come down the same way someone would make you kneel if you're being forced to kneel. So here, 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 here. Same routine, but you want to attack while you move and move while you attack. When you practice with a firearm, you might not always be able to shoot. The firearm may be empty. So you want to make sure you're able to strike with it and hit with it without losing control of it if it's empty. Not a huge fan of poking with the barrel unless you have two hands on the weapon. It's easy to flex your wrist, but a tap or two back or front might be something you can practice effectively, right? And then you should also make sure you practice with your offhand as well. And then obviously empty-handed as well. Good. And now a classic get up. If you have to get up off the ground, you want to make sure that you're able to move away if you get knocked down and be able to get up off the ground. Empty-handed. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now shin rides. So imagine this is a person on their back, and you want to be able to maintain pressure on the person while you move. So knee or shin to floating ribs, knee or shin to face. Good leg position, toes off the ground, maximum pressure. Okay, good. Now, obviously, you're going to get knocked down. In a real fight, you can easily get knocked down. So you need to be able to fall and retain command of the weapon. So if you get knocked down, you need to practice your dead falls. So to practice a dead fall, if you have to fall into your weapon arm, it could happen, right? So you want to make sure you can maintain control of your weapon. And how to do a dead fall is you want to swing your leg out, lower your weight, and fall onto your left side. And you would fall onto your arm and your hip, and you want to distribute the weight evenly throughout, right? So, side dead fall. Bang, bang. Switch hands. Now, people are going to tell you it's insane. Nobody can fall on concrete. Nobody can fall on the hard ground. In real life, fights don't take place on 2-inch mats. I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? All right, so there's just a quick 7 exercises. If you do maybe 10-12 reps of each, that's okay, like I just did. If you can get out 25, great. Maybe you do, instead, you do an MBF. You do 4 reps of 4 in maybe 8 minutes, and then cycling through them all. And you build up your strength over time and you work your way up to doing a constitutional. Now, I've got about 30 exercises. That's 7. I have about 30 in my repertoire. If you want to know the rest of them, you're going to have to come out to the club. I'll give you a list, but you got to come out and train. Or you have to sign up for the distance learning program. Either way, sign up for the program, put in the work, and I'll give you a list of 30 exercises. I know what you're thinking. You think I'm trying to sell you something, but I'm really not. My martial arts club is a 501c3 federally recognized nonprofit. It's really free, even the distance learning program. Go to heritageartsinc.com and sign up, or physically come out to the park and train. You'll find us on Google, Heritage Self-Defense, or links in the description. Thanks for watching. Go train.